I have a challenge for you. Go to Google right now and Google functional medicine with your city and tell me what shows up. Now look at the top 10 results that show up. Number one, are you in the top 10 results? Because if not, that's where we need to start. And if you are in the top 10 results, go to your nine top competitors because that's who you're looking at. From a patient's perspective, not your team's perspective, but somebody from the outside who doesn't understand what functional medicine is, all the others. Chances are pretty high you're going to see the same terminology on every website. Holistic approach, getting to the root cause of problems, personalized medicine for your journey, and comprehensive testing or equipment that is the latest and greatest for the industry. Is there any differentiation between you and those other nine people? Because when everybody sounds identical and they all talk about the same things in the same ways using the same language, that forces patients to look at Google reviews and price to make a determination on whether or not you're a good fit for them and help them on their healing journey. If you aren't talking about your practice in a unique way that actually appeals and entices them to call you, chances are pretty high they're not going to. At the end of the day, that's not a marketing strategy. That's not a business strategy. Unfortunately, that's a race that nobody can win because all it's going to take is one bad review or somebody spending additional funds, more money than you have, or spending more money on ads than you do to get to the top of that list. If we haven't met yet, I'm Alisa Connor, and I show up every week here to help specialty medical practices and professional services firms grow, not by outspending their competitors, but by building patient and client experiences that your patients and clients can't wait to talk about. If the scenario I just described sounds like you to a T, then stay tuned because you probably have also had these experiences where you are attracting patients. Maybe they're coming in from advertising, but they're not the right patients. They're people that are not invested in the long-term journey of healing their bodies. And so they're coupon chasers or quick fixers, and they're not the ideal people that would be of benefit to your practice. The other thing that I hear from functional medicine practice owners is people don't understand what we do. They don't understand why we're different. They don't know why we're different from chiropractors and acupuncturists and what we actually do with patients versus their primary care doctor. And that, my friends, is a messaging problem, as well as if you're struggling with helping your excellent practitioner stand out from everybody else in the industry or fighting on price. If those are some of the things that your office is experiencing, then I want you to stay tuned because I have some answers for you and more than likely a little bit of homework. And more than likely, a little bit of homework that's going to make things a lot clearer and a lot easier for you to move forward. At the end of the day, you can track all of these problems down to messaging. And people think messaging is just wham bam, AI can write that and we're done and ready to go. But what happens is if AI is writing your messaging, you sound exactly like everybody else in your industry because there's only so many things that AI can say without bringing your specificity and uniqueness to your marketing, your website, and to the way you talk about your business. Typically, people try to solve this by adding more content, using AI to search their content. I have a client right now who is obsessed with being found by LLMs. Those LLMs are not going to bring her the right clients if the messaging that she's trying to optimize for in those search chatbots isn't what her ideal client would be looking for, talking about, or using to make a decision. And if you're doing the same thing and you're just throwing content out there, hoping you get found on search, it's not only a little late for SEO at this point because of AI, but it's also running an uphill battle that you're never going to win. Clearly talking to the people that you want to work with and illustrating how you're different from everybody else in your industry and how you're going to help them solve their problems will win the day not only quicker, easier, but in the long run, it's going to build your practice with not only patients that you want to work with and that want to work with you, but faster with referrals, recommendations, and getting the word out without using additional marketing spend. The next component I want to talk about is so prevalent, especially in the medical world, because medical and education have a way of talking. And usually it's because the people in those industries are very educated. And so they think that everyone talks that way. But when I go in and I have a conversation with them and we try to rewrite their messaging for their marketing, their website, their social media, and I say we need to talk at a fourth grade level, they're like, why? That'll make us sound stupid. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you sound like if no one's listening, no one's clicking, and no one's coming into the office. And that's where people go astray, is they want to talk about all of the things that they know about, all of the things that they do, and all of the ways that they solve a problem. But what your future patients are looking for is, do they understand what I'm going through? Do they know what my problem is? And are they talking in a way that they get me? Because if you're not, you've already lost them. They're going to go find somebody who it can have a conversation with them at the level they need the conversation to flow, not the level you want it to flow or think it should flow. So when you dive into medicinal protocols or testing or lab work or imaging, right away, they don't even know what those terms mean most often. And it's not because they're not educated, although some people that would come to you may not have a higher education. Most people don't have the time or energy to decipher whatever it is you're going on about. Are busy, they're clicking from one thing to the next, they're probably doing five things at one time, and they just want to find somebody who can speak their language, talk to them in a way that they understand, and show them the pathway to get to the result that they want. They're probably saying things to themselves like, I just want to wake up without being tired. I want to have energy to play with my kids or grandkids. I want to get back to a weight that makes my clothes fit and I feel confident. I want to understand why I have pain in all of my joints and how it just came about and what to do about fixing it. And I want a specific plan of action that's going to address all of the things that I am struggling with and an idea of how long it's going to take. Not just let's throw this at that and hope this helps and do that. They want a specific plan that's catered to them. And if you can't create that pathway for them in your marketing and on your website, you're losing them before they even click on the button or pick up the phone to schedule an appointment. Most often, especially in medical specialty practices, and functional medicine is one of those, the language that you use to speak about your organization is all about the things that you do, the tactics you use, the equipment you have, the tests you run. But all of your patients are looking for outcomes. And the biggest benefit of making this messaging shift is that you're going to attract your ideal patients and more of them 2 to 3 times faster than your competitors. For the simple reason you're willing to have a clear, confident, patient-focused conversation with them, and nobody else is. So the first thing that I recommend to organizations who are struggling with this, and they are struggling with standing out, and they're struggling with beating their competitors and not filling their calendars, is focus on the transformation. If you're not focusing on where they'll be at the end of working with you from the beginning, they're never going to be able to visualize getting there. So, for example, if one of your top patients that you treat is CEOs who are struggling from burnout or unclear thinking, they are not at their optimum performance, but you can help them within 90 days get back to their peak selves. Why aren't you talking about that? And better yet, why aren't you talking about it in exactly that way? If your clinic specializes in helping women over 40 manage premenopause and menopause, and you're not describing all of the things that go on in menopause, like night sweats and overheating and overeating and the belly fat that won't go away, and all of the things that people that are going into and are in menopause, you're missing the boat because they're not looking, they don't even know to look for a functional medicine doctor. They just know they feel like crap all the time and no one is helping them feel better and they don't even know where to turn. Those are two specific examples of where you could take your messaging to talk to specific people. And I would even go deeper than that. I would talk about one specific problem that you have had confidence and results in solving for someone in perimenopause. And then you have the ability to talk to those patients and see if they'll share their story. When you have authority from a patient that shows exactly what you were able to help them with, that even builds a stronger case with your messaging. And it attracts and converts more patients who realize, hey, this is the person that can help me. And I know that because they help Susie with the same problem that I have. When you get specific about the problem and the solution, you're going to attract the right people and they're going to come to you quicker, faster, and you're going to build your authority and your results even quicker and faster. And the nice thing about this is focusing on that one problem. You know that's not the only problem that's associated with perimenopause and menopause. You have the ability to continue to work with them and create a longer term relationship with them, which equals more revenue once they become a patient and you've shown them results. This isn't about limiting your practice. This isn't about saying you only work with those people. What it is carving a line so that the people who need and want to work with you can find you amidst all the noise. And this is why people find it scary to carve out a niche or an ideal patient for their practice. If we don't talk to everyone, we're gonna only be known for this. Well, so what? If you're only known for that, you're known for something. And if you're known for one thing, then the word will get out that you actually do other things. And I've had so many organizations that are so focused on helping everyone that at the end of the day, they don't end up helping anyone. And they're struggling to fill their calendars. They're struggling to keep patients. They're struggling to get referrals. And their practice is struggling overall. The other benefit of this that nobody really looks at when we're talking about messaging is the benefit of being able to justify your pricing. And in functional medicine specifically, because there are a lot of out-of-pocket costs, there's some friction there. Like people don't know whether or not the investment is going to be worthwhile. But when you start talking about the transformations and you start showing and showcasing those transformations for your patients, future patients aren't going to struggle so much with paying you because they know that you're going to be able to deliver the results. You've done it for other people, and this is your specialty. So the conversation around money and around investment and whether or not to pay you for additional services goes away, or it becomes less of a struggle because they know you can deliver on what you say you can deliver on. So you've already addressed their objection before they even brought it up in a conversation. Whether or not you're addressing that in your messaging is the big determinant in whether or not they move forward with you. And you don't even know that that's part of the conversation. So if you tune into these episodes regularly, you know, I try to give you an action plan so you can take action right away and start getting results. This week is no different. Step number 1 is to go and review your website. Count the number of times from the top to the bottom of the homepage that you talk about the things that you do, whether that's imaging or specialty doctors, specialty processes, or different medical terms. And count the number of times you do that versus the number of times you talk about results. Chances are pretty high one column is going to be higher than the other. Step number 2, go talk to 5 people outside of your organization and preferably outside of the medical community and ask them exactly what it is you do. Have them describe to you in their words what it is you do and how you're different from all of the other people out there that have medical practices, not even necessarily functional medical practices, just medical practices in general. Those 5 conversations are gold. I recommend recording them because they're going to tell you all of the things that are currently missing or where you're missing the boat. This is one of the most powerful exercises that I do with my clients. And when they go through this process, the light bulbs just start going off. Step number 3 is to go back the last 30 days and review patients that booked calls with you and came in for consultations. What happened with them? Did they move forward? Did they have one appointment? Are they becoming long-term clients? And determine both the similarities and the differences between those conversations, because that also is going to open up opportunities for you to make improvements, whether that's on patient experience or the way that you talk about the things you do, or whatever that might be. But those 3 homework items are going to give you the springboard to start making improvements and get you showing up for the things that you do best. Luckily, one of the things that I do for specialty medical practices and including functional medicine is I'm able to do a quick 15-minute assessment, give you 3 places where I see you're leaking revenue, and you can focus on those things and start to gain traction. And one of those areas is likely messaging. So we can create a plan if that's where you want to spend your time. Likely, if you're struggling with any of the issues that we talked about in this episode, chances are pretty high you have a messaging challenge. One of the things that I identify in the growth assessment that I do for people is we talk about messaging. And I give you a couple of places that you can focus your energy on within your practice that are going to plug your revenue leaks, and help you catapult your growth. If you're interested in having a conversation around what that would look like for you and your organization, the link is below this video. And I would love to be able to help you with that. In the meantime, if your clinical outcomes are excellent and yet nobody's talking about them, or you're struggling to bring the right people into your office or keep them there, chances are pretty high it's not the medicine in your office that's the problem. It's your marketing and it's the way that you talk about what you do. Luckily, that's a fixable problem. If you're struggling with attracting patients, but they're not the right ones, or not attracting patients, or not being able to stand out from your competitors, or the amount of services you're able to sell to a patient are low, you are likely struggling with a messaging challenge. And the assessment shows you exactly where to start to fix that problem. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to share it with a friend. And if you're over on YouTube, I would love for you to hit the like button. In the meantime, have a great week. Take care. I'll see you soon. Be well.